raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury your testimony in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Have a seat. Pull yourself up close to the microphone.
Good afternoon, sir. Would you please state your name for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
My name is Dana Kroom, Croom, and I'm an investigator with the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office now.
Okay. Anticipated my next question. Prior to becoming an investigator for the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office, what was your employment?
I work for the City of Columbus as a police officer.
Okay, and how long were you a police officer?
I was a police officer for 33 and a half years.
All right. Let's go through your history with the Columbus Police Department briefly.
Okay.
What are the various assignments that you had as a police officer?
My first 4 years, I worked patrol. First 3.5, 4 years, I worked patrol, which is answered calls, persistent calls, and worked cruisers. After that, I worked narcotics for 13 years. Part of that narcotics details 4 years on the tactical teams. We did all the crack house raids. I worked a year while I was in narcotics. I worked a year in the DEA task force. We did long-term federal cases, and then after that, I did mid-level actual undercover work for the City of Columbus for 13 years. Then from there, I went to homicide unit for 17 years. Basic homicide unit for first 10 years, and then this last 7 years I worked homicide, but my additional duty was called CERT, it was Critical Incident Response Team, where we respond to all police shootings, and that includes shootings or death in custody, anything that may require somebody probably was deceased in the line of duty and the police were there. Like if a shooting happened, somebody committed suicide and the police happened to be there, we would have to respond. So anything related to that.
Okay. So when you talk about CERT, that was a unit within the homicide squad?
Yes, it was a unit within the homicide unit, and it's usually experienced homicide detectives that worked there.
And in addition to your duties in CERT, did you also have regular duties in the homicide squad?
That's correct. I worked CERT, but that was an additional duty, but we also handle regular homicide cases.
Okay. And when did you retire from the police department?
March 19th, 2021.
You know that date exactly?
Roughly. Yeah.
What one you look forward to, I assume?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take you back to December 4th, 2020. Were you called to a CERT assignment that day?
Yes, it was. My partner, Bill Gillette, he called me and let me know there was what we call a CERT call out. That means all the CERT team who was working, or some people who had to get called in to come in and work the case.
Okay. And was this an incident that occurred at 3996 Estates Place here in Columbus?
That's correct.
Did you respond to that location?
I did respond to that location. That's correct.
Okay. Were you assigned duties once you got to the location?
When I first got to the location, I first interviewed some firefighters that was at the scene, and then I was assigned by my sergeant asked me to go to me and Detective Gillette to go to the hospital to do what we call a hospital follow-up.
Okay. What hospital did you go to?
Riverside Hospital.
And this is where they had taken the victim of the shooting?
That's correct.
Okay. And tell us what happened when you got to the hospital there.
So when I got to the hospital, what typically happens, we either meet the staff, somebody in staff. In this case, I think I met the charge nurse, and she directed me to where Mr. Goodson was. And then once everything was clear, we find out if there's any other witnesses. One of our jobs was to inspect the body.
Okay. When you arrived there, did they indicate what Mr. Goodson's condition was?
When I got there, I think they might have just was pronounced deceased.
They just pronounced him?
I think so.
Okay. And so at that point, it's now has become a homicide, it's not just a shooting, is that right?
That's correct. It becomes a homicide.
And what were your responsibilities there at the hospital as a result of this now becoming a homicide?
Like I said earlier, one of the jobs is we inspect the body. We collect the clothes. At this point, the hospital, the RN had told us the security had collected the clothes. So we had a bag of clothes collected. And what typically we do is bag the hands, just in case there's any evidence on the hands. We did that. And in this case, the coroner's office was notified via the chaplain. Most times we call the chaplain, the coroner's office, but in this case, the hospital chaplain called them. And then they let us know that they had transportation ready.
Okay, so once the coroner's office is notified, then they make arrangements to take possession of the body?
Yes, usually what happens is we usually make arrangements for transportation to the coroner's office. But in this case, the coroner's office had already called our patrol officers, which are wagon transports.
The police make the actual transportation?
That's correct.
But the coroner's office arranged that?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, you indicated that among the other things that you did there, you collected Mr. Goodson's clothing and personal effects. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Why don't we put the gloves on?
It should be right there on the table. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to join that.
Hey, Tim, is that the other witnesses?
Pardon me?
That sheet of paper, is that the other witness?
Oh, I believe it is. Thank you. You can retake your seat.
Oh, okay.
I'll hand these to you. Hand you a bag that's marked State's Exhibit 5C. Why don't we take the contents out? To see if you recognize what that is.
It's like red.
Pair of gym shorts?
Gym shorts. Yep.
Okay. Now, the shorts are cut. From your experience, is that kind of normal in the hospital? They often cut off the clothing?
Either the hospital or the emergency, the medics in the squad.
Someone who was giving medical aid?
That's correct.
Okay. Hold that. be,
Blue jeans with a black belt attached.
okay. And again, they're also cut and appear to have some blood on them, is that correct?
That's correct.
Also in the bag should be a portion of the belt.
Okay.
And then boxer shorts,
Box, yes, sir.
okay. Situate, just wrap those back up. I guess it's not really a bag.
You want that other than the jeans?
There were also socks. This is State's Exhibit 5B. You recognize what that is?
Look like a red like shirt.
Okay, so this would be like a T-shirt.
Markings on it. That's correct.
And when you collected them, were these little arrows on it?
No.
Okay, those appear to be marking bullet holes.
Correct. It's probably our crime scene, actually, probably did that.
And this would be 5A. It used to be a bag at least.
Appear to be a hoodie.
Okay. And again, it has arrows on it that would have been added at some later time.
That's correct.
Okay. And this appears to be very blood soaked, is that correct?
Appears to be, yes, sir.
It's Exhibit 5G. Okay, what is that?
It's a holster for
Okay.
your waistband.
And you collected that at the hospital?
That's correct.
Are you familiar with that type of holster?
I had one similar when I worked narcotics.
Okay. How do they operate? Is it a very secure holster?
I've never had any trouble. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I've never had any trouble. What do you mean by secure, but weapon coming out? Is that what you
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, I never had any trouble.
Okay. Where would you, when you wore it, where would you wear a holster like that?
When I wore one, I wore it on, I'd wear it on my hip, or right, either right here or on the front of my hip.
Okay.
And I wore it just on, when I was, as a duty officer, I didn't have this, I had a regular gun belt. But on clothes and was working undercover, I would wear.
Okay. When you were working undercover and you had a weapon, and did you use the holster then?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So,
Tell us yes and tell us no.
okay, when you work undercover, you usually work as a supporting cast sometimes in undercover, like you're watching somebody else do the undercover work, actually do the undercover work. When I wasn't actually doing the undercover work, I would wear that holster.
Okay,
But when I was doing undercover work, I didn't usually have a holster, and I would put it in the front. And
why is that?
back then, it was just made, I think a lot of people in the neighborhood thought if you had a holster, there's another question that you may ask if you was a cop.
Okay.
So if I had it in me, I felt that was one less question I had to answer to if I got caught with the gun on me.
So if you had the holster, that might be an indicator that you were a police officer?
It's another, back then it was another reason for I was trying to alleviate any questions. So
You didn't want to be identified.
I didn't want to be
as a police
identified. That's correct.
State's Exhibit 5F.
Cell phone, iPhone, looks like.
Okay, and this is Mr. Goodson's phone that you collected?
That's correct.
Okay. Got an envelope with a number of items in it. 5E is what?
Appears to be a Chase credit. You want me to open it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a Chase credit card.
All right, in whose name?
Sharon L. Payne.
Okay. State's Exhibit 5I.
Appears to be an AirPod with no AirPods in it, but AirPods in the case.
Okay.
AirPod case.
It's just the case.
Just the case, no AirPods.
Nothing's in them.
Nothing's in it.
Okay. All right. And again, this was among the personal effects of Mr. Goodson.
That's correct.
Okay. Oops. Here. Or this 5H, which is the whole item is what?
Whole items 5H.
Yeah.
Driver. It's a wallet, black wallet. Various IDs inside.
Okay. Did you, were all of the, if you can, you can take a look at those and see if they are what were in the wallet when you collected.
As far as I don't remember exactly what was in it, but I usually left everything in the wallet
Okay.
and let the crime scene go over it.
We also have marked 5HH. And you know what that is?
5WH is the Franklin County, Ohio concealed carry license.
Okay, and that was in Mr. Goodson's wallet.
That's correct.
Okay. The others are credit cards.
Yes.
I believe there's a driver's license, correct?
Driver license, yes.
Maybe a CDL.
Learner permit.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Those back together. Obviously, these are the contents of his pockets, I imagine.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
There's a receipt here. Do you? My eyes aren't good enough to read it.
McDonald's restaurant.
Okay. And does it have a date on it?
11/10/2020.
Okay. so it's an old receipt,
Yes,
and that would have been connected with the wallet?
that's correct.
Okay.
I put a trash can there if you want to take a close look.
Thank you, Detective. I don't believe I have any further questions. Mark, do you want me to gather that? All that out?
I don't need any of that.
Okay. Let me put it back in the box here.
Any cross-examination?
Yes, may I proceed, Your Honor?
May?
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir,
Mr. Detective, my name is Mark Collins, as you've known for 33 and a third years. Somehow you're retired and I'm not. I don't understand.
yes, sir.
Are you enjoying the partial retirement?
Yes, sir.
Enjoying the investigation of the prosecutor's office?
Yes, sir.
Using a lot of the same tools you've acquired over that 33 and a third years in your current position, correct?
That's correct.
And part of that is you try to be as thorough as possible, correct?
That's correct.
You don't try to find evidence to prove a certain point. You just try to put the whole story forward, correct?
That's correct.
You want the entire picture, Detective Kim, right?
That's correct.
Not bits and pieces and snippets and that. You gather the evidence and then you try to poke holes in it, right?
That's correct.
For example, if someone gives a statement to you when you're a homicide detective, you're taking that statement, you're comparing it to all the other physical evidence to see if that statement holds up or not, correct?
That's correct.
One of the main things that you did throughout your career.
That's correct.
Now, you're the first CERT officer to testify in this trial. So let's talk a little bit about the CERT team, okay?
Okay.
Could you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that is in a brief kind of synopsis?
Critical incident response team. We respond to all critical incidents involving police officers.
Kind of the elite of the elite, correct?
That's correct. Either the victims or if the police officer was shot, or if they shot anybody else, or any violent crime that may proceed in criminal charges against a police officer.
And the CERT team was designed because you knew you were investigating law enforcement, right?
That's correct.
So you knew that you had to do a thorough job because it would be examined from all different angles, correct?
That's correct.
And so you've been to many scenes as a CERT detective, correct?
That's correct.
Now, there's also a protocol normally involved when you have the CERT team and a law enforcement officer, correct?
That's correct.
Is it fair to say that the CERT team does not ask the law enforcement officer what happened, correct?
That's correct.
Based on your training and experience on the CERT team and knowing that the law, so to speak, it's never allowed to, you're not supposed to ask the officer who was just involved in the situation, correct?
That's correct.
Basically, though, because of the relationship with the union and the other aspects, they are required to stay and potentially do a walkthrough if they're asked, right?
That's correct.
And things of that nature, basic, correct?
It was a set protocol that we went by.
There was a set protocol that you always followed. Now, afterwards, the officer was never asked to give a statement right away, correct?
We asked, but we knew typically that he would not give a statement until later on. Yeah,
Typically, it was anywhere from a couple weeks to 30 days, correct?
that's correct.
That was the protocol that was in place.
That's a protocol, yes, sir.
However, that protocol, when the statement was received, the law enforcement officer had no access to any of the investigation of the CERT team, correct?
Oh, that's correct.
That law enforcement officer who's giving a statement voluntarily, right?
That's correct.
And that voluntary statement, that person had no access to any of the investigation that had occurred or was ongoing at that time.
That's correct.
That was a definite protocol in place that was not allowed, correct?
Only people who had access to the certain investigations are certain detectives, and usually the main lead investigator.
And when you arrived on scene as a CERT detective in general, you've seen officers involved in critical incidents respond many different ways, correct?
That's correct.
See them get sick,
That's correct.
see them emotional and crying,
That's correct.
see them like a zombie,
That's correct.
see them focused on their task and doing what they're trained to do.
That's correct.
You never know how an officer's gonna react in that type of traumatic situation, do you?
That's correct.
Because of that, you're also trained on officer support, correct?
That's correct.
That concept is to try to say, hey, don't talk to the officer at the appropriate time, take the officer off the scene.
That's correct.
And you participated in all aspects of that, being an elite CERT team member, correct?
That's correct.
Now, in general, detective with a CERT team, some are sent to the scene. You were at the scene first, right?
That's correct.
And I think you got there around 1:15.
That's correct.
The CERT detectives are now trying to split up, and one of the main goals is to interview anybody who might be a fact witness, right?
That's correct.
Somebody who heard something, saw something, or was in the area, correct?
That's correct.
You do a canvass of the neighborhood, anybody who might have heard something, you're getting that down right away, correct?
That's correct.
That's all gathered and sent to the powers that be and to the prosecutor's office eventually.
That's correct.
Every single one of these CERT investigations, you know, is going to a prosecutor.
That's correct.
Now, if someone on the scene was law enforcement, you're investigating them as well, as long as it wasn't the use of force person.
That's correct.
So if there's officers who were in the scene, around it, when the action happened, it's a priority for you to interview them right then and there.
That's correct.
And that was done in this situation on December the 4th, correct?
That's correct.
Part of your team members, I think your partner, Sergeant Peolia, and some others, Detective Shepard, they were interviewing people who saw something or heard something in the neighborhood.
That's correct.
And those people are the most important people because those are the people who were in that scenario during that time frame.
That's correct.
Stuff that happened prior, I'm sorry. And you guys are instructed on the case law with regards to your investigations on justification, correct?
That's correct.
So you know that stuff that occurred prior to the law enforcement's involvement really doesn't matter, correct?
That's correct.
And then stuff that you find out after the fact, like everything that was in Mr. Goodson's wallet, that would not be known to an officer involved in that situation, correct?
That's correct.
So the officer would not know that Mr. Goodson had a CCW permit.
That's correct.
So all of that stuff before the officer came into contact with Mr. Goodson and after the fact has no bearing on the collection and the CERT team's investigatory process, right?
That's correct.
Now, you're gonna gather everything and put it and give it to the prosecutors.
That's correct.
They then choose what to put forth in a case,
That's correct.
not you guys.
No.
Now, and you wanna try to do that at the scene as close as possible as you can, right?
That's correct.
So 1:15, so you're basically there about an hour later.
That's correct.
Now, crime scene search unit is after you guys get done with that aspect, right? They come to photograph and place the evidence.
Yeah, what happens is we get there, we determine what needs to be done, and then we'll call crime scene, and that will determine how many crime scene guys that end up coming.
And the crime scene search lead detective was Detective Mounts then, right? On that day, if you remember.
I don't remember, to be honest with
Okay.
you.
The CERT team lead, so we got two teams, CSSU, right?
That's correct.
They will have a scene detective who directs everybody at the scene.
That's correct.
Then you also have a CERT team, right?
That's correct.
The director of that was Detective Hughes.
Art Hughes was the lead investigator. Sergeant Pillier was our immediate
Sergeant
supervisor.
Hughes is above him.
Yes,
And then Detective Hughes is the lead investigator.
that's correct.
But everything that you acquire goes to Detective Hughes.
That's correct.
Now, back in December of 2020, there was an issue with regards to whether it was going to be the CERT team, whether it was the FBI, whether it was BCI, and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, that all happened I don't think that happened that same day.
No,
It happened
after December 4th.
after December 4th, yes.
So normally you don't have the FBI in your investigation.
No.
That all came after the fact.
After the fact, yes.
Now, you mentioned some of your earlier, how should I say this, heroic actions as a young police officer, right? In terms of you were on narcotics, you were on tactical raids, correct?
That's correct.
When you're on a tactical raid, you're busting into a house to try to arrest someone or stop some criminal activity, right?
That's correct.
And in there, when you go in, you don't know what you're gonna find.
No.
And if you don't know, so you try to have intel about the concept of the house you're going to and stuff like that ahead of time, right?
And sometimes we may have intel on if somebody has a gun in there or not.
So, but when you go in there, it doesn't matter who you find, you're making orders to gain immediate compliance.
That's correct.
Because each and every person you encounter could be a threat to you, correct?
Oh, that's correct.
And that's how you're trained. And you practice those dynamic entries or clearing a house, so to speak, all the time, right?
That's correct.
And part of that is there's some vulgarity used, right? And everybody has their weapons drawn, correct?
That's correct.
You just don't walk in and say, hey, what are you doing? Or you don't ask questions. You gain control of the scene and you clear the scene, then the questions start being asked.
Yeah, it's called the dynamic entry.
Dynamic entry, okay. And you've done many of those, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, when you went to the hospital on December the 4th, it seems like you picked up a T-shirt, right?
That's correct.
Hoodie.
That's correct.
Presumably the T-shirt was underneath the hoodie.
Yeah.
Underwear, right?
Yes.
Then a pair of shorts, correct?
Yes.
Then jeans over that, right?
Yes.
Jeans had a belt, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And on that belt was a holster, correct? Or, I'm sorry. A holster was also there.
Yes.
Okay. And that type of holster, it doesn't snap onto the belt, right?
It's snapped inside.
It goes inside.
belt, yeah.
And so it uses, my gut's too good. It uses your body or your stomach or your hip, wherever, and the elasticity uses the pressure up against it inside the pants.
Right.
Right. And you've had that on many times, correct?
Yes.
And you told Mr. Merkel you never had issues with that, meaning if you were running and pursuing someone or apprehending someone, it didn't fall out, right?
No.
Okay, never had that.
Not for me.
Hundreds of times probably, right?
That's correct.
Now, based on your training and experience, Detective, if you saw someone waving a gun in a car in 2020, that is a crime to you, correct?
That's correct.
You would notice that, correct?
That's correct.
Illegal, improper handling of a firearm in a vehicle, correct?
That's correct.
If that gun hypothetically was pointed towards you, that's another crime, correct?
That's correct.
You would have a duty to investigate, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, if you were undercover, right, there's certain things, you don't have a leads machine, right?
Right.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what a leads device is.
Leads, you call it in and it gives you information on the license plates, driver's license, and information on either the vehicle or the person that you talk to.
And you're aware of the different, the combination of task forces, correct?
That's correct.
In 2020, you were aware of the SOFAST, the U.S. Marshals Task Force, right?
That's correct.
They have their own communication channel, correct?
That's correct.
And undercover, they don't have access to these, correct?
No, we call it in.
So when you say we, if you were a Columbus police officer, when you were on patrol and you saw something happen, the first thing you would do is say, hey, I want a leads check on this license plate.
That's correct.
Undercover, you couldn't do that.
No.
And you don't have, because nowadays they have the leads machine in the car. Right?
That's
You can
correct.
actually run it.
That's correct.
But an undercover car, you don't have that.
No.
And the leads, all that gives you back is who, with the license plate, who's that associated to?
That's correct.
Now, in a situation, hypothetically, Detective, if you were pursuing to investigate, you have a now reasonable articulable suspicion to stop that person, right?
That's correct.
And you're trying to say, hey, what's going on? What did you do, right?
That's correct.
Now, if that person stays in the car, you would approach it one way, correct?
That's correct.
If the person's out of the car and hypothetically sees you and runs, how has that dynamic now changed, Detective?
The person that I saw, you chase after him.
You chase after him because you don't know where that person's going, correct?
Yep.
You You don't know where that person lives. You have no idea how that person parks a car. You have no idea if the person goes to a front entrance or a side entrance or anything like that, correct?
That's correct.
You're trained to observe the actions and react to that, correct?
That's correct.
You're not trained to say, oh, geez, that person's running, might be going someplace that's safe, right?
That's correct.
You have no concept. You don't have the ability to do that because it's impossible to read someone's mind.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, it becomes a dynamic situation, correct?
That's correct.
And eluding a police officer is a form of noncompliance, correct?
That's correct.
I assume you would go as fast as you can up there?
That's correct.
What if Gillette wasn't with you, your detective or something? Or what if you were earlier with a team, but it was just you at that point? Do you wait for other people before you pursue that person?
No, I would chase and then air information where I was going.
You would air to your team, hey, this is where I'm at, got a guy with a gun, this is what I'm doing, right?
That's correct.
Hey, but once the person takes off, that changes everything, right?
That's correct.
And that's a form of noncompliance. When you got closer, would you yell commands to that person?
That's correct.
Drop the gun, drop the gun,
Yes, sir.
show me your hands, show me your hands.
Yes, sir.
Columbus Police,
Yes, sir.
those are all ways of identifying yourself, correct, and trying to gain their compliance.
That's correct.
And you would agree with me, sir, that based on your experience in the shoot, don't shoot scenarios, that if you perceive, just because you perceive it, well, let me put it this way. If you know a person has a gun, right?
That's correct.
Just because they might have their back to you, if you don't see the gun, are you allowed to shoot them?
If I don't see the gun?
Right.
No.
Okay? Just because they have their back to you and you now have lost sight of the gun, you would still give commands, correct?
That's correct.
And now, if you then see the gun or the gun comes towards you, how does that change based on your training, detective?
It becomes an imminent threat. So,
Immediate imminent threat, correct?
yes.
And if the gun comes towards you, you're trained to do what, sir?
Stop the threat.
Fire your weapon, using force against the same force.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're not trained if someone's fleeing from you and they're going into the house, into someone's house, you can't shoot them just because they're going into a house, can you?
That's correct.
You have to see the threat.
Imminent threat.
You don't shoot while the person's running, right?
No.
You don't shoot when the person
Wait.
gets out to the door.
If he's
You haven't, at this point, you don't see the
oh,
gun.
no, don't see the gun. Nope, you don't shoot.
You don't see, when the person's at the door, you don't shoot them.
No.
But if you see the gun comes towards you, you're trained to shoot.
Imminent threat, yeah.
Someone can still be a deadly threat with their back towards you with a weapon.
That's correct.
And again, if you didn't know the person, had no information or anything like that, all these things about a CCW and a credit card and Sharon Payne's credit card and things like that, they don't matter in that analysis, correct?
That's correct.
They have nothing to do with that aspect.
That's correct.
The actions of the waving the gun up at the scene, the actions of the noncompliance, the actions of eluding and turning back, that's what the focus is.
That's correct.
Detective, always a pleasure. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
Detective Crooms, your involvement in this investigation started and ended on December 4th, is that correct?
No, I did some interviews afterwards.
Okay, you interviewed some other witnesses on other days?
Yes.
Okay,
I think, I know, we went up to like Genoa Township and I was accompanied by, at one time, FBI agent. And we went up to talk to some firefighters up there.
okay.
And for procedure reasons, they decided not to talk. They ended up doing, procedure reasons, they decided not to conduct the interview with me. And then they left. So I ended up doing the interview with the Genoa
Okay.
Township by myself.
Genoa, or was it Clinton Township?
It might have, I think we met at Genoa Township, but it might have been a Clinton Township officer.
May have been a medic that was
Medic,
working
yeah.
both places.
Yes.
Because Genoa Township didn't respond to this.
No. There was a firefighter that I think worked two different places.
Okay. But that, along with with some interviews at the scene of Firefighter, or maybe it wasn't firefighters at the scene, and then the hospital follow-up.
That's
Was
correct.
pretty much the extent of your involvement, is that
That's correct. Yes, sir.
So with the exception of the follow-up interview with the firefighter, your involvement basically ended when you turned the property that you collected in the, at Riverside into the property room, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, Mr. Collins asked you about, protocol and so forth on these CERT incidents, police-involved incidents, and he said the protocol is that the officer doesn't give a statement that day.
That's correct.
Call that.
That's correct.
Is it the protocol or the policy of the Columbus Police Department not to ask for a statement?
No, I believe we asked, but his agreement, has always been an agreement that they would come in at a later date, 13 or 14 days.
Because, for example, if you were investigating a regular shooting or homicide not involving the police, and the shooter was identified to you, you would want to question him, wouldn't you?
That's correct, but there's been cases where we let them get their attorney and do the same thing.
Yeah, you don't get the opportunity in these police shootings because they typically decline. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And since your involvement ended, you don't know whether Mr. Meade later gave a statement or not. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Collins was asking you about the leads, checking leads, and he was talking about in the cruisers today, you have a computer right there so that the officer can oftentimes himself, check leads.
Yes.
Back in your days on patrol, was there a computer in the cruiser that you could check leads?
We didn't have a computer that could check the leads back in my day.
But you had leads back then, right?
Back then, we would go to there's a main channel where we talk to the dispatchers. But if we was going to have something run or want to warrant check on somebody, we would go to another channel and use that so we wouldn't be airing up the airtime.
So you'd use your radio to check leads, and then
That's correct.
they would give you information back.
That's correct.
So if you had a radio or you had access to a radio that could be tuned to the Columbus Police radio network, you would be able to access leads, is that right?
Yes, you would have to change the channel and then access leads, yes.
And other departments also, it's not just Columbus that has access to leads, is that correct?
It should be a statewide ordinance. Leads we can get statewide usually.
So like, for example, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office they would have access to leads, is that right?
I would assume so, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further.
Any follow-up questions?
Just based on those briefly, very, very briefly. Detective Kroom, when when you're in a situation and it's fluid and it's moving, and it's happening fast, many times you don't have a chance to go to leads, correct?
That's correct.
It takes a while, correct?
That's correct.
Especially someone who's trying to elude you, correct?
That's correct.
And when you do leads, if it comes back the owner of the car, maybe, if it comes back a female, that's not gonna help you any, right?
That's correct. And we typically, if you're doing a chase, if you're referring to a chase, we typically go and get that until later on.
Exactly. And then with regards to Mr. Merkel said about, you said about other defendants, a person has an absolute right not to ever give a statement, correct?
That's correct.
They have a constitutional right not to give a statement, correct?
That's correct.
So when an officer does, that's a voluntary statement, correct?
That's correct.
And based on your experience, your patrol, your narcotics, all the different divisions you've been in, sir, the homicide, the cold case, stuff like this, you would agree with me that you're a reasonable police officer, correct, Detective?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, you can step down. You all right, Sue? Anybody get the tacos over at the cafeteria? Taco Tuesday? It's a little maze around here. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear, affirm under penalty of perjury, your testimony in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Have a seat. Pull yourself up close to the microphone. And you may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your name
Nicholas Lighthizer,
and what's your occupation?
firefighter paramedic,
And what house do you work in? Columbus?
Columbus Division of Fire,
And where do you currently work?
Station 18.
And how long have you been employed as a firefighter paramedic?
Since 2018.
Okay, and tell me about tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, your education training to be a firefighter paramedic at Hunt Township.
Sure. You have to get a firefighter 2 certification, 1 and 2 in the state of Ohio, and then go through basic EMT program, and then also a state accredited paramedic program, and pass the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians to be certified as a paramedic in the state of Ohio.
Okay, and were you employed as a firefighter paramedic back in December 4th of 2020?
I was.
All right. And did you, at that time, and do you have any type of certifications?
I was a firefighter 1 and 2 and a paramedic with the state of Ohio.
Okay. And do you have any certification that allows you to do as paramedic to follow physician protocol?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
Your paramedic certification,
Okay. What's MREMT?
the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians.
Okay, you have certification in that?
I do.
That's what I was getting at.
Sure.
All right. And so when you have that type of certification, are you able to assess injuries, decide steps needed to be taken to get them to a medical facility or a doctor?
You are.
Okay, and would you explain to the ladies from Jones, why is that and what are you doing?
So under the direction of a physician-written protocol, you have a medical director, and that is a emergency physician usually. They have a protocol that's written that you're following as you take emergency runs, just guidelines of how to treat and transport injured and ill patients.
Now, currently, you're with the Columbus Fire Department. Back in December 4th of 2020, which division were you in?
I was with Clinton Township.
And now I want to direct your attention to December 4th, what we're talking about. Were you dispatched to 3996 Columbus, Ohio, Franklin County?
I was.
Place. Okay. And when you were dispatched, is the run documented?
What do you mean?
Is there a report?
Yeah, patient care report.
Do you have a copy of your report with you?
I do not.
Do you need a copy of your report?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to hand you the, can you identify what that is?
This is a copy of the patient care report from
For
that,
run.
for that run. Yes, sir.
I did make an exhibit. We're not introducing it, so. It's just so that this was back in 2020. I assume you've had many runs since then, is that right?
That is, yeah, many runs.
Although this one might be a little bit different. But this would document what you did and arrival times and things along those lines, is that right?
Sure.
And you do have some independent memory of this particular run as well, is that correct?
Somewhat.
All right, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what time was the call received?
The call was received at 12:13 and 58 p.m.
And what time did your squad arrive?
We arrived at 12:17:27.
All right, now who was with you? And tell me what your guys' roles were. Who's the driver, or how does this work?
Sure. So that day I was assigned as the driver of Medic 61 in Clinton Township. There was another paramedic on the truck with me who was in charge that day.
And who was that?
Firefighter Kyle Kohler.
So upon your arrival at 12:17, what did you see? What happened?
So upon our arrival, we, on violent incidents like shootings and stabbings, per our SOPs, we have to stage a safe distance away from any potentially violent scene. So we arrived closer to Ferris Road on Estates Place at a safe distance to stage. We noticed, along with Medic 24, the other ambulance that was on the run with us, a very large police presence. It appeared to be a very active scene.
Okay. And so initially, was there a little bit of confusion whether you're supposed to stage or not stage?
There was.
And, but you guys took the position, you were going to stage until you make sure it was okay for you to enter, is that correct?
Yep, every single run that we get dispatched to starts with determining if the scene is safe, scene safety.
Now, while you were waiting, did you guys, you and Mr. Kohler, did you witness a man or anybody with a child?
We did.
Okay, so tell us about that.
So while we were on the street, somebody, a man, I believe, and a child came running down the street towards the ambulance. So we got out, got them into the back of the patient compartment of the ambulance, and began assessing them for any injuries.
And was there some blood on the child or something?
I believe so.
Okay, was that initially thinking that maybe they were part of this in some way?
Yeah, we thought that they were potentially patients from, from a shooting, because that's what we were dispatched to. We did not have a lot of information going in as to, who may be injured.
And it turned out that they weren't part of what you were there for.
Yep, they were not.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
So what happened next?
So next, I believe a Columbus police officer came down the street and was able to direct us into the scene to where our victim was.
All right. Do you remember, when, did you drive the ambulance down there, or, and, did you get closer to the scene, or did you leave it where it was?
I don't recall. I think we walked or quickly walked or ran down the street with the officer. I think someone may have moved our truck closer to the scene, but I don't recall.
Do you remember which door you went in?
Yeah,
Okay, explain.
we went in a side door to the residence on the side of the house.
All right. And do you recall that it was a sidewalk that went around back of the house into a gated area?
Yeah,
Okay, and there was a side door there.
sure.
Would that have been the door that you and your partner made entry?
I believe so.
Okay. When you came in, into the house, what did you see, and what did you hear?
When we came into the house, we saw a person laying on the ground facing upwards, just inside the door to the right, I believe.
All right. And was anybody giving him chest compressions or medical attention?
Yeah, so it appeared that a police officer was providing chest compressions to this person that was laying on the ground.
And did somebody point out a firearm to you?
They did.
Okay, and where was that laying, if you recall?
Yeah, police officer, I believe from a scene safety standpoint, did point out or state that there was a firearm on the ground. I believe it was laying between the wall and the patient on their left side.
And I'm just going to, if I could have the ammo, please. I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 2. Looks like 2FF. Does that look like if you recall, does that look like the residence that 3996 Estates Place?
I believe so.
Okay. And you can see the sidewalk coming around here. Would this be the sidewalk that you went to get to the back side door?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just show you another one. Does that appear to be, this would be States Exhibit 2GG. Again, does that show the fence as it would have been on that day or close to it, going through as to how you got to the side door?
I think so, yeah.
So you'd indicated you saw was it a male individual?
It was.
All right. And what did you do after being advised that there was a weapon? You see the other officer giving him medical chest compressions. What did you guys do? Did you take over?
Yeah, so we came in to evaluate the person laying on the ground, initiated a rapid trauma assessment.
And tell us what that is.
So a rapid trauma assessment is it's a fast assessment of someone with traumatic injuries. This person had gunshot wounds that we identified to their chest inside the house. We usually start rapid trauma assessments at the patient's head, checking for any injuries that are incompatible with life, any gunshot wounds to their head with brain matter exposed. We would terminate resuscitation at that time.
Okay. So and is this the same protocol that you used on this day?
It is.
Okay. So when you were beginning your rapid assessment, did you see what type of injuries did you initially see?
So initially, we just saw some blood, so we could assume there's injuries. Starting the assessment at the patient's head, we did not see any injuries to their head. Once we identified gunshot wounds to their chest, we then tried to rapidly extricate the patient out of the house and get them into our truck so we could continue life-saving measures and transport them to the closest trauma center.
And you indicate gunshot wounds. It's not your guys' job to determine exit or entrance wounds. Is that
It's
right?
not.
It's it's just a matter that you assess that there were gunshot wounds, that that's that the injuries that you're going to treat.
Sure.
Is also part of the rapid assessment treatment determination whether there's unsustainable life or whether somebody still can potentially get help.
It is.
And were you, when you were doing the rapid assessment, was Kyle Coulter with you doing that as well?
He was standing behind me. When you're the driver or the hands-on person, I'm down doing the assessment, and then he's seeing what I'm doing, and we're just working off each other.
All right. And where were you positioned in relationship to the patient?
I believe behind his head.
All right. And do you recall, I'm going to have you refer to your report again, what time did you get to the patient?
At 12:22.
Now, when you were at the head of the patient, you indicated that you're checking first for any type of head injury and stuff. Do you remove if they're wearing any type of clothing or anything like that in order to do your assessment?
Yeah, you would.
And in this case, do you remember whether or not he had a hat or something on and AirPods in his ears?
Yeah, he had a skull cap, some sort of hat on, and I do believe he did have some earphones in.
Okay. I'm going to hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 8C. Does that appear to be the patient that you were treating at that time on that occasion? Do you recall that?
It does.
Okay, and I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 8CC. Can you identify that photo?
Yes.
And who's in 8CC?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are those fair and accurate copies of what you would have seen that day on December 4th?
Yeah.
May I publish your own? Okay. First is 8C. So you see, is that what the patient, as far as what he looked like on that day? And you can see one of the AirPods in his ears, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm going to show you 8CC. Is that you doing, at least checking assessment of the patient?
Yeah, I believe that's just right in the beginning of the assessment.
And at some point in time, did you determine the patient's name?
Not during this.
Yeah, but at
You
some
know.
point in time.
Sure.
And who was it? Who was it?
Casey Goodson.
Okay. All right. And in this 8CC, you can see both AirPods, is that right?
Yeah,
All right. And did you remove those?
I did.
Were they in his ears?
I believe so.
Now let's go to further your assessment. What did the report say as far as what was his assessment at that time? Your trauma assessment.
What the report says?
Yeah. What did you guys find? You said he's found pulseless.
Yeah, pulseless and apneic, which means he does not have a pulse, his heart is not beating, and apneic means that he has no spontaneous respirations or he's not breathing.
And was he handcuffed at the time when you were doing it?
He was.
And that's not unusual, is it? When you show up where something dealing with something like this, is that
No.
correct?
Yeah, not unusual.
At any time, did they remove the handcuffs?
No.
Now, after you remove the AirPods and the skull cap or whatever, what did you do with that? Did you just leave it?
Yeah.
So you left it at the scene? Now, what was decided after your rapid assessment as to what the next protocol would be?
So after we do a rapid trauma assessment, did not identify any wounds to the patient's head, saw that there was gunshot wounds to the patient's chest area, we determined that we were going to continue resuscitative efforts and transport the patient to hospital.
And where did you transport him to?
Riverside Methodist.
Sometime you did conduct a secondary trauma assessment was performed, is that right?
It is,
And where was that done at?
in the back of the ambulance.
So, to remove him from the house, you remember how you got Casey out of the house?
I do.
Okay, and how were you able to do that?
So when we have a patient who's unresponsive, generally we use something called a tarp, where we will roll them onto, it's just a carrying device to help assist us carry them out to our stretcher, so then we can get them into the back of our ambulance.
And I'm going to show you what's been previously identified as State's Exhibit 2PP. It's a photograph that's previously been identified as a photograph of on the front porch here outside the door. Do you see a piece of paper laying there?
I do.
Okay, and what, can you tell me what that is?
Yeah, that's a piece of paper that is inside every prepackaged tarp. It's just a paper saying what it is. It's in every package.
From viewing that photograph, it appears there's drops of blood on that piece of paper.
It does.
And it looks fresh.
It looks like it's still wet, yes.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked, or it's been marked State's Exhibit 39J. I don't think we approach.
Right.
Ask if you can identify that.
Sure.
Can you identify the photo? Who's standing in the doorway?
That's me.
Okay, and does it appear to be when you were removing Casey from the house?
It does.
And does that appear to be a fair and accurate representation as to what that looked like on that day?
As far as us carrying him out of the, yeah.
So when you've got a secondary assessment, during that assessment, do you cut off the clothes?
We do. So,
Tell us about that.
sure. With a secondary assessment, we're going to remove all the patient's clothing to identify any and all injuries so that we can treat them and make sure we're notifying the hospital.
All right. And during that process of cutting off his clothes, did you see anything around? Did you see a holster?
We did.
Okay. And where was that located?
I believe right in the center of his pants.
Okay. And how did you remove his clothing? Did you cut around the area where the holster was?
I believe we did.
Now, you did mention that there was some of the pointed out a gun to you. Are you aware, did you guys touch or did anybody touch the weapon?
Not while we were there.
So, which hospital did you take him to?
Riverside Methodist.
And what happens when you arrive at Riverside Methodist?
So when we arrive at the hospital, we obviously get the patient out of the back of the medic, and then we will wheel them into the hospital as directed by them, what room we're gonna go to.
Okay. And how about the clothing and the belongings? What happens with those?
All that stuff stays with the patient and is given to hospital security or staff.
At any time during your treatment or your involvement with Casey Goodson, did you ever find that he had a pulse?
No,
Any type of voluntary movement?
no.
Just a moment. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilman Approach? Any cross-examination?
Just a few questions, Your Honor.
Be careful when a lawyer says just a few questions.
I promise this time. Mr. Lighthizer, how are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
I'm Steve Nolder. I'm one of Mr. Meade's lawyers. I do have just a few questions for you. And if I may approach the witness, Your Honor.
Right?
Mr. Lighthizer, I'm going to hand you what's been marked for identification purposes as Defendant's Exhibit R. Can you take a look at that?
Sure.
Is it true that that would be the marked copy of the patient care report you gave testimony about?
Looks like it, yep.
Same thing?
Sure.
And that's for Mr. Goodson on December the 4th of 2020, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, this document, and you have a copy in front of you, it has a number of fields on the 3 pages, correct?
It does.
And would I be correct in assuming that either you or Mr. Kohler would have been responsible for populating those fields after you had finished your work in this case?
You would.
And it looks, if you look at the bottom of the document, that it's completed by 3:47 p.m. on December the 4th, right?
Yeah.
If I may have the Elmo. Thank you, Rachel. We could just look at the 3rd page first, Mr. Lighthizer. Now, you spoke on your direct examination about the various times that were relevant to your activity in the case, and those would be found here on the far right column, right?
Yes, sir.
So the call comes in at 12:13, and the patient's transferred at Riverside at 12:36 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir.
There are a whole host of other times, but those set the boundaries for what your work was that day, correct?
Yes, sir.
I think that you said that when you arrived on the scene that you would have been notified that the scene was secure, otherwise you weren't permitted even to go inside. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And would it be true that when you went inside that you still were wearing a bulletproof vest?
It is.
That's common protocol, isn't it?
On incidents like this, yes,
And they would have identified you as a medic, right?
they would.
They've also given you some protection in the event something happened, right?
Some protection, yes.
So once you, and I think you said you entered the side door, right?
Yes, sir.
That's where you're directed to go to the side door, correct?
Yes.
And once you went to the side door, isn't it true that you saw Mr. Goodson's body lying supine? It means face up,
Yes, sir.
right? I have that right?
You
Supine
do.
is face up. And he's also near the doorway, right?
Yes.
Matter of fact, it's written in this patient care report, it says patient was found lying supine just inside the side doorway on page 2, doesn't it? In the narrative section, the bottom of the first paragraph.
Yes, sir.
Now, you also told us that you brought a tarp in order to carry Mr. Goodson's body outside, right?
Yes, sir.
And would you agree the kitchen was a small area?
Based on my recollection, yes.
Than 5 years ago, so do you recall how, if it was a small area?
I believe it was tight.
And do you remember how many law enforcement officers were in the kitchen when you first gained entry?
I couldn't give you an exact number, but there was several.
Several, okay. More than 2?
At least 2.
And was the kitchen so tight that you couldn't get the cot inside the kitchen?
Based on my recollection, yes.
So is the most efficient way to transport Mr. Goodson's body, at least to your vehicles, to put him on a tarp, then transfer him to a cot, and then get him to your vehicle, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So how big is this tarp that you talked about? What are the dimensions of this tarp, Mr. Lighthizer?
I couldn't give you exact dimensions. They're large.
Large?
They're large.
Is it something you spread out on the kitchen floor in this case?
If you have room to spread it out, you can. It's cloth, it's pliable, so you could have it up against a wall and work it under a patient. They're very dynamic and workable.
Okay. Do you remember what technique you used in this case in order to get Mr. Goodson's body on the tarp?
I do not.
But nonetheless, he was placed on the tarp, and do you recall how many people it took to lift Mr. Goodson's body onto the tarp?
I do not.
You remember how many people it took to transport Mr. Goodson's body out of the house to get him on the cot?
I couldn't give you an exact number.
More than one person.
Definitely more than one person.
Is a two-person job, or does it take more than two people
In this exact scenario or generally?
in this scenario?
In this scenario, it's going to take more than two people.
Would it be fair to say you may have two people on each side, so it'd take four people to get him outside?
Generally, we like to have at least two people on each side.
Told you I'd be fast. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
They redirect.
Mr. Lighthizer, you'd have previously identified State's Exhibit 39J. Maybe publish that. So that is, who's in the doorway? This person here, is that Kyle or is that you?
I believe that's me.
So this would have been when he was being removed out of the house, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So when we're talking about how many people it takes, in fact, what we have is some evidence here. So you can see here, this is his feet, is that correct?
Appears to be.
And it doesn't appear to be shoes on?
No, sir.
And then under here, it appears to be, doesn't appear to be like something wet or something? Would that be blood? Okay. You can see the underside of his pants.
Yeah.
Now, it's not unusual that when somebody's transported out, that even if you're, I don't see a tarp, you still can have blood drops and stuff like that when you're taking somebody out in this manner. Is that correct?
Sure.
Let me get to the report. Mr. Norder was asking about the times. You indicated you were at Casey's head to assess at 12:22. Is that, do you have a stopwatch or something, or a watch that you get that time, or do you do some type of estimate?
So the at-patient time is an approximate time. It's a best estimate of when we arrived at the patient.
Okay. And you try to get as close to that as possible, is that right?
Sure.
Okay. And if you're off, you aren't off by much?
Generally, no.
Okay. Not hours or anything like that?
I would not say so. It's an approximate time.
Usually within minutes?
Like to hope so.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, you can step down, leave everything there. Any further witnesses on behalf of the state?
Yes, Your Honor. Call Detective Howe.
Raise your right hand, you're already in front of me. Do you solemnly swear affirm under penalty of perjury your testimony in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? I do. Have a seat, pull yourself up next to the microphone. You may want to remove the report that you have up here.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would you please state your name for the record?
James Howe, Howe.
What's your current occupation?
I work for the City of Columbus, the Division of Police in our Digital Forensics Unit.
And how long have you held that position in the digital forensic unit?
The unit was created in 2018, but I've been doing digital forensics since 2012.
Now, you're a police officer.
Yes,
Okay. And how long have you been in the Columbus Police Department?
almost 25 years.
So what are your current duties as the detective in the digital forensic unit? What do you do?
Anything digital that kind of comes through the department, through the detective bureau that they want examined, such as phones, computers, digital video recorders, drones, things like that. Our unit will extract that data and then provide that data to the detectives.
And what type of educational training do you have in digital forensics?
I've been training since 2012. I've studied pretty extensively at the National Computer Forensic Institute in Alabama. It's a Secret Service run facility. I've trained with multiple private vendors, all that since 2012.
And so you've been to, give me some of your educational background on it then. Is it,
I have mobile device extraction experience, computer forensic experience, digital video enhancements, audio enhancements experience.
all right. Do you hold any certifications related to the digital forensics?
Yes.
What are those?
One is a Celebrate Certified Mobile Examiner certification, a Magnet Certified Forensic Examiner certification.
And do you teach or lecture on digital forensic examinations?
Yes.
And how many times have you done that?
I've lost track. I've been doing it for quite a while. I've taught at the state level, federal level, and our basic recruit classes.
And do you have any estimate of how many digital forensic examinations you have conducted as a Columbus Police detective?
Mobile device exams, I've conducted 1,992, 69 computer exams, probably like 300 DVR exams.
So, and to do one of these examinations, such as on a phone or a mobile device, what tools do you use? Can you tell us what tools are used in that?
For mobile devices, we have two primary tools. One Magnet Forensics makes called Gray Key, and the other is a company Celebrate. They make something called Insights. They're both extraction devices. They work very similar together.
And do different devices require different tools or methods?
Yes, we'll research the device, decide which tool that particular one is going to give us the most amount of data from. It just depends on the make, model, and the operating system that's on there.
Have you been recognized as an expert when testifying about these matters?
Yes.
All right, let's get to, what's the first thing after extracting the data, how do you go about analyzing and documenting it?
We'll take the data that's extracted from the device, we'll put it into a secondary piece of software. The tools that we use to extract the device are hardware related. And then we'll put that into software. That software will then sort out those particular artifacts, and we're able to then report on that and view them in like a human readable form.
Were you assigned to do a phone analysis or extraction in this case?
Yes, I was.
And I'm going to hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 5F. Identify that for us, please.
This is the phone I examined for Detective Art Hughes out of this case.
And whose phone did that belong to?
Casey Goodson.
So Detective Hughes, he's the one that turned the phone over to you?
Yes.
And were you asked to analyze the phone in connection to the December 4th, 2020 incident involving this case that occurred at 3996 Estates Place?
Yes, I was.
Did you prepare a report documenting your findings?
Yes,
And do you have a copy of the report with you?
I do.
That assist you, if need be, to have the report with you?
Yes.
What's the date of the last report?
January 5th, 2024.
Oh, you said, I said the last report because there's been supplements, is that right?
Yes.
Um, So why were supplements necessary in this?
At different times throughout the investigation, I was just asked to look up and follow up on additional items like subway application, YouTube music application, and some Bluetooth information.
Okay. And the last supplement was dealing with the Bluetooth information and the YouTube information.
Yes, it's all in there.
Um, What was it that, what was the reasoning for Detective Hughes to have you look at the phone?
To extract the data and present that to him in case anything was related to this incident.
Were you asked to look at the Bluetooth connections in the AirPods?
Yes.
Were you asked to look at any particular application such as YouTube data?
Yes.
And which YouTube data was it that you were examining from off the phone?
Specifically YouTube music.
Let's go back. When you first received the phone for the examination, what is it that? Let's go through the process. What is it that you do?
When the phone was initially turned over to me, it had been powered off or had lost power at some point. I was not provided the PIN code at that point, so I did a very limited extraction that we call a before first unlock. It's just basically system data, very little user data. I notified Detective Hughes that we were going to need the PIN code in order for the phone, that particular make and model phone, to work with our software and hardware. He was able to contact one of the agents, Rob White, I believe was his name, and get the PIN code, which he then provided to me. Once I received the PIN code, I was able to unlock the device and extract all the data, what we call a full file system image of the phone. It's the most comprehensive amount of data that you can get from an iPhone.
Okay, so that's the initial extraction form then would be the full file extraction.
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
The initial extraction is the full file extraction.
The second extraction was the full file system extraction.
Okay, what was the first one?
Before first unlock, it's the very limited data.
Okay. Um, What hardware or what tools did you use to extract this data?
For this one, I use the magnet gray key. They tend to work with iPhones very well. And once I was able to extract the data, I then put it into a Cellbrite tool called Physical Analyzer and Magnet Axiom.
Okay, did you also conduct what's called a manual examination of the phone?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and why is a manual examination? What is it and why is it important?
A manual examination, it was following the full file system extraction of the device. We'll manually go through so that way we can confirm and validate things that we see in the software. It's also an easy way, because people are familiar with phones, it's an easy way to kind of look at the data as it's, right in front of you.
So you can actually see on the screen the applications that were open on the phone?
Yes.
And why do you want to look at those applications?
In this particular case, it was they wanted to know what the user was doing. So those applications that were running in the background or running were important to the detective.
And could you tell us what applications did you see that were open?
There were several. Do you want me to go through them all?
Well, did they include the YouTube music?
Yes.
That's what we're looking for. Okay. Did you also determine the identification, did you also determine ownership information? Was it stored on the phone?
Yes.
Would you tell us about that?
When we do a full file system extraction on a phone, we'll get what's called user accounts off of it, device name, owner name. That's the device name is something that the user inputs themselves. On this one, it was, I believe, Casey's iPhone.
Okay. That was the user. What's the
Yeah, it was, the device name was named Casey's iPhone, and then the Apple ID associated with the phone was CaseyGoodson90@gmail.com.
Right, very good. Did you also see, was there pedometer data
Yes.
on the phone? Okay, and explain what pedometer is.
Your smartphones now have pedometers built into them. They track, in a health app on an iPhone, they track your movements. They're based on motion and sensors on the phone.
What did you use Gray Key, after Gray Key you use Cellbrite?
Yes.
Pedometer? What information did you find from the pedometer data that was shown for December 4th of 2020?
So on December 4, I filtered to that particular date of interest at 12:02:41 p.m. The device logged 135 steps for a distance of 78.55 meters, so about 259 feet.
How many steps did you say?
135.
So how, based on your training and experience, how does this pedometer app work? And how does it know when to start and stop?
It's based on motion, so it could be steps, it could be running, it could be you just moving the device up and down. All those things can trigger.
And did you find a listed time for the end time on the pedometer data?
The end time was 12:12:16 p.m.
And that was on December 4th
Correct.
of 2020.
Yes.
After the 12/12/16 data, was there any other pedometer data after that? I know it stopped, but did it start back up?
No, not from the times that I viewed.
That was the last time that there was any indication that there was any walking
Yes.
pedometer data. Were you also asked to analyze the Bluetooth data?
Yes.
And what is Bluetooth?
Bluetooth is a way to wirelessly connect to a device from your phone. So in this case, it was AirPods.
Okay, and were you able to locate data about the Bluetooth on State's Exhibit, the phone?
Yes.
And did you look at the time frame of December 4th, 2020, as to whether there was any active Bluetooth data on the device?
Yes.
Okay, what did you find?
I had two entries. Both were for a device named Nae's AirPods, N-A-E, apostrophe S.
And it's actually like a nay with a heart.
N-A-E, a heart emoji, apostrophe S, AirPods.
And so go ahead and tell me what did you found, if there's times, or what did you find?
The last detected time, so last seen time when you look at it in the database, was December 4th, 2020, 12:23:38 p.m.
At 12:23:38 p.m.?
Yes.
4th of 2020. Okay, let's back up a little bit. So what does, you found that they had been, that the device had been paired. What does that mean?
It's when you have a connection from your phone to your whatever Bluetooth device it might be, in this case, AirPods.
And there was also, you were able to determine some additional information about the AirPods and how they were set up. Can you tell us about that?
I went into that property list where the data for those AirPods are stored. It wasn't natively on the software that we had. I was able to go in and see that there was something called in-ear detection, and it was marked as true. So in that case, it meant it was active on those AirPods. It was something that was on.
Yeah, and can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen, what does that mean? The in-ear detection.
Meaning when the AirPods are connected and placed in the ear or taken out of the ear, this would be detected by the device. So anytime you take them in the ear or out of the ear, the device realizes that, and it could start music, stop, pause music.
And so when you say that there's a connection paired and it creates a connection, that's when you're able to listen to the music in the AirPods, correct?
Correct.
And you found that to be true, meaning that device, or that was set up, the AirPods and the phone were all set up to enable the in-ear detection.
Yes.
So in essence, that does it mean that if one is removed, that the music would pause or be disconnected?
They do on mine. I'm not sure this particular model.
But that's what that does for the in-ear.
Yes, it definitely detects removal from your ear.
And which would cause it not to play through the AirPods and pause the device or disconnect.
Correct.
So when you're looking at this, does the phone maintain a full connection log on this between the AirPods and the phone, or is there only the most recent entry that you obtained?
Everything I looked at was most recent entries for either it being paired or detected.
Now let's kind of move forward to what we were having you look at, and that was the YouTube music activity. You were asked to analyze that YouTube music activity, correct?
Yes.
Did you review a Google account data associated with the phone?
Yes, I did. Detective Hughes provided me, he wrote a search warrant to Google for Mr. Goodson's Gmail account, and they provided him that data, which he turned over to me.
And I'm going to hand you what's been. Steve's doing it. Caitlin? Then he hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 17. Take a look at that.
Yes.
You recognize what that is?
I do. It's Google's certificate of authenticity. Most online companies, cell phone carriers, they provide this to us to authenticate the records.
And, so you received this, and this pertains to particularly Casey Goodson's account.
Casey Goodson 90@gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Now, I guess that's what my next question was, is that it's the account Casey Goodson 90@gmail.com.
Correct.
And is that the data that you were able to incorporate and analyze alongside of Casey's phone?
Yes.
Now, I want you to focus on the time frame, let's say, from 12 p.m. on December 4th of 2020 to the end of the Google Music data on the phone, okay? What is it that you can tell us about what you found about the use of the YouTube Music during that time frame?
Starting at 11:58:57 a.m., a song was playing. It was mirrored on the device and the YouTube return. At 12:02:15 p.m., again, a song playing on the device. 12:05:30 p.m., a song playing on the device. 12:08:55 p.m., a song playing on the device. 12:11:49 p.m., a song was playing. 12:12:23 p.m., a song was playing. 12:16:23 p.m., a song was playing. 12:19:50 p.m., a song was playing. And that was the last one. It has an end time of 12:22:44 p.m.
So your analysis showed that there were multiple timestamps between noon and 12:20, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, I'm going to ask you, suppose evidence shows that Casey Goodson was wearing AirPods at approximately 12:20 or 12:22, okay, when he was receiving medical aid at his home. Does the Bluetooth data and the YouTube data that you analyzed on the phone allow you any conclusion whether the music was continuously playing between 12 p.m. and this time frame and then when he was receiving medical aid?
If the AirPods were in the ear based on those settings, then yes, I would support that.
Yeah, so based on the Bluetooth, YouTube data, you can determine that the music was playing, continuously playing, if the AirPods were in his ears.
Yes.
And is that an opinion to a reasonable degree of forensic, in your field of forensics?
Yeah.
Just a moment. I don't have anything further, Detective. Thank you very much.
Any cross-examination?
Thank you, Your Honor. May I proceed? Good afternoon, Detective Howe.
Good afternoon.
My name is Caitlin Stevens, and I, along with my co-counsel, Mr. Collins and Mr. Nolder, represent Mr. Meade in this action. I tend to go fast. If at any time I go too fast or you don't understand my question, please just let me know and I'll be sure to rephrase. Make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. Sir, throughout the pendency of this case, you completed 4 separate reports. Is that correct?
Yes.
The first 3 of the reports had to deal with things such as examining Bluetooth data and application usage, correct?
Correct.
But the 4th report, that wasn't mentioned by Mr. Schroyer, was it, that they had you do?
I'm not sure which one you're referring to then.
The 4th report that they asked you to complete for this investigation was one of a Facebook analysis for a witness named Chris Corn, correct?
Correct. Sorry, I thought you were talking about just this phone.
No, that's okay. So 3 for the phone, right?
Yes.
And 1 for the Facebook,
Correct.
correct? I want to focus on the ones that you did for the phone, and I kind of want to pick up where Mr. Schroyer left off. Now, with respect to the Bluetooth findings, in order for headphones or AirPods to play music from a phone, they have to be through Bluetooth, correct?
For AirPods, yes.
For AirPods. Now, in those 3 separate analyses for the phone that you completed, you cannot locate any artifacts that show that music was playing through Casey Goodson's AirPods at the time of the shooting, correct?
Correct. Just that music was playing.
Just that music was playing, not that music was playing through those AirPods, correct?
Correct.
You have no idea if music was playing through those AirPods, right, Detective?
Right.
Now, if it wasn't playing through the AirPods, you can show with the YouTube data that music was playing from the device, from the phone, correct?
Yes.
But you have no idea how loud that music is playing, correct?
None.
Would it surprise you, sir, if I started YouTube music before I came up here and cross-examined you, that you can't hear any YouTube music from this device?
Objection.
Basis?
Speculation.
Overruled. You can answer if you know.
Would it surprise you, sir, if I started YouTube music while I was sitting at counsel table before I got up to cross-examine you, that you can't hear any YouTube music coming from this phone?
No, it wouldn't.
Overruled.
Third time's a charm, Detective. Would it surprise you to learn that if I started YouTube music while I was sitting at counsel table before I came up to cross-examine you, that you can't hear any from this phone?
No.
Because I have the volume turned down, right?
Yes.
And so you have no way of knowing, no artifacts in this phone that say how loud the music was on that device on December 4th of 2020, correct?
Correct. I never found anything related to volume.
I want to talk to you about auto ear detection for a moment. You're aware that any slight movement of the AirPods in your ears can detection pauses the AirPods from streaming.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about those AirPods. You're aware that the AirPods models that Casey Goodson had was model A2031, correct?
Yes.
And you're aware that those are not noise cancellation AirPods, correct?
Correct.
Now, 2020 was probably too early for noise cancellation, right?
I believe so. For that model, yes, but
AirPods have since developed noise canceling headphones, right?
yes.
But those ones that were analyzed as part of this Bluetooth analysis were not noise cancellation, correct?
Correct.
Meaning you can have AirPods in and still know what's going on around you, right?
Yes, you could.
Now, Mr. Schroyer talked to you about the screenshots that were recovered as part of the BFU, I believe, analysis, and then further the FF analysis, right?
One was through a manual and then one was through a full file system.
But they were the same exact screenshots, correct?
Yes, I manually took the actual screenshots.
Okay, so fair to say, when you slide up and take those screenshots, the most recent app is the first screenshot that you would have taken, right?
Yes.
And there were several applications that were running at the same time, right?
Yes, with an iPhone, it'll place those what's is called in the background. So that app, while it's still running, just goes to the background.
We probably estimate about 30 applications running on the phone on December 4th, 2020 when you analyzed that.
I didn't count, but there were a lot.
Yes. I want to talk to you about the YouTube app on the screenshot of your report. If you can turn to that, sir. Now you have the report dated January 5th of 2024, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So on page 7 of your report, let me know once you're there.
Okay.
Bottom row, first screenshot, you'll see YouTube music. Are you with me?
Yes.
And on that YouTube music, it states that the song that was playing was Down Me by King Von.
Oh, yeah, why don't you approach?
May I proceed?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. So when you analyzed this phone, you determined that Down Me by King Von was playing with respect to those screenshots, correct?
That was the screenshot that was there, yes.
That was the screenshot that was there. So that was the song that would have been playing when the phone was powered down, correct?
At the very least, when it was taken to the background, when iOS creates that snapshot. So,
When iOS creates that snapshot, you said?
yeah, snapshot,
So that's the song that was playing when iOS created that snapshot.
yes.
Okay. Now, if you turn to page 24 of your report, sir, it talks about the Google Music that Mr. Schroyer had you analyze. Just let me know once you get there. Are you with me, Detective?
Yes.
Thank you. And when the timestamp for Down Me by King Von is December 4th, 2020 at 11:43 and 12 seconds a.m., correct?
Correct.
Now, I want to talk to you about the final report that the prosecution asked you to write. We discussed that that report was one of Facebook.
Object, Your Honor, and ask him to write. Can we approach?
Yeah, why don't you?
prosecution asked you to prepare was one of a Facebook analysis of a witness named Chris Korn, correct?
Correct.
And the prosecution had reached out to you because they had learned that Chris Korn had deleted his Facebook after he spoke with the FBI and to the state of Ohio, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that while you were preparing your fourth report, right?
That he deleted, yes.
Correct. So, you had to obtain a warrant in order to retrieve that Facebook information, correct?
Yes.
But first, you had to tell the prosecution to tell Chris Korn to reactivate his Facebook in order to retrieve all of that information, right?
Yes, when I researched it, I figured out we were still within a time frame to be able to get it reactivated. And then once it was reactivated, I was able to locate it and do the proper warrant.
So Chris had to reactivate it, right?
Yes.
And then you were able to execute the warrant, correct?
Correct.
And you were able to retrieve over 13,000 pages of data from Facebook, correct?
Yes.
With respect to Mr. Korn's Facebook for the time frame that you specifically analyzed, right?
Yes.
And I believe the time frame you specifically analyzed, I have a copy of your report, but specifically was from January 26, 2024 to February 1st of 2024. Does that sound right?
I believe so.
Do you want a copy of your report, sir?
Yes, please.
Yes. May I approach, Your Honor? It's a copy of his fourth report. Thank you so much. I'll give you a second to familiarize yourself with that report.
Okay.
Based on that report, what was the time frame that you were asked to look at?
Do you have a specific page you're referring to?
I do. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Thank you so much. Maybe it's right there. No, maybe it's on the front. So sorry. Oh, you know what? It's in the back. That date and month ending. 126.
So, starting January 26, 2024, to January 31st, 2024 was the last one.
You said through January
31st, 2024.
2024. And during those time periods, sir, your analysis revealed that Chris Korn contacted the family's attorney, correct?
Yes.
And he had 44 searches about this specific case from January 26th to January 31st, correct?
Correct.
You're aware that he contacted the family attorney's wife, right?
Yes, it was in.
And you're aware that he contacted Mr. Goodson's mother, correct?
Yes.
You're aware that he had direct messages with Mr. Goodson's mother, correct?
There were messages. I don't recall if there's responses or things.
You recovered over 13,000 pages of Facebook activity and records for Mr. Korn, right? We talked about that?
Yes.
And you recovered, in those 13,000 pages of data, you recovered 0 friend requests in between that time period, correct?
I did not locate any.
Now, you never got Janae Sanford Jones's iPhone to see if their AirPods may be paired to her phone, did you?
No, this was the only phone I believe I examined.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the pedometer data that Mr. Schroyer asked you about. You're aware that the pedometer data on this iPhone is not exact, correct?
Correct.
In fact, me shaking this iPhone, it can log it as steps, right?
Yes.
May I have a moment, Your Honor? just one more question, famous last words, right? Detective, to a reasonable degree of certainty, of scientific certainty that you analyzed these cell phones with, you cannot say that music was playing through Casey Goodson's AirPods on December 4th, 2020 at 12:13 p.m., can you?
No, there's nothing on that device that I'm aware of that tracks whether or not it's in that particular AirPod, just if they're paired.
Thank you so much, Detective, for your time.
Can you redirect? You want to grab your report, Ms. Stevens?
Oh, yes, please, Your Honor. Unless Mr. Schroyer would like to use it. Would you like to use that report, Mr. Schroyer?
Well, you can leave it there.
Okay.
So Detective, just to back up, as to the AirPods. Okay. So when if the AirPods were taken out of the ears, okay, music would stop, is that correct?
Should, yes.
And in this case, if the AirPods were removed at the time that Casey Goodson was receiving treatment, okay, at 12:22, the music would stop at that time, is that right?
It should, yes.
And that's the last thing that you got out of your report. There was nothing after that, is that right?
Right.
It could play out of the phone, is that correct?
It could, yes.
Okay. But if they're put in and they're detected in the ears, based on your data, they would be playing, is that correct?
I'm sorry, can you
They
repeat?
would be playing.
I'm sorry, what were the circumstances?
The AirPods were in the ears.
Yes, it should, unless there was some interruption for some reason.
So music would have been playing at that time.
Should have been.
Where there would be no reason because they were paired according to your data.
Yes.
Now, dealing with the fourth report, okay, the prosecutors in the case did request you to look for data involving Chris Corner. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
And the reason to look for that data was something to determine whether or not what had taken place on that. Is that right?
To the best of my understanding, yes.
When we say contacted, that doesn't mean, is that just, what does that mean, contact?
There were messages.
One
Say-
what?
I don't think there were any responses, but
Right, that's my point. So if somebody sits there and tries to contact somebody, you're not saying from that report, nowhere in the report does there say that there was ever a response from the other side, is that correct?
I'm going to look real quick, but I don't believe there was. I don't see any responses.
Thank you. So, contact means is that just somebody's maybe sending something to someone, right? You're not talking about,
These were sent messages.
it doesn't mean that the other person on the other side received them. You don't have any data about that, correct?
No.
Or read them.
No, you would have to have the other side's Facebook return.
The pedometer. What was the last time that we saw the entry on the pedometer? Twelve, 16, is that right?
Yes, 12/12/16 was the ending time. Not from the time frame that I filtered to and looked at.
Well, there was nothing after that, is that correct?
Correct.
I believe you previously opined that, that on the Bluetooth and the YouTube data, that you did opine to a reasonable degree of or of certainty, forensic certainty, that music was continuously playing during the time frame that we were talking about.
That was consistent on the device and from
And the
Google.
AirPods were paired.
They were paired.
And we do know that if Medic says he took the AirPods out around 12:22, that's
Objection, Your Honor.
consistent with the,
Oh, hold on, there's an objection. Stop. Basis?
Your Honor, he's testifying as to what somebody else had testified to, telling Detective Howe what exactly it was that a medic testified to. He has no idea or knowledge.
Mr. Schroyer, sustain, ask a question.
if the evidence showed that the AirPods were removed from his ears at 12:22 PM, okay? And that's the last entry that you got, that would show that the music was been playing, correct?
The last entry for what?
12:22.
For the music?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions as a result of this?
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Howe, you cannot locate any evidence or any artifacts whatsoever from Mr. Goodson's phone that shows that these AirPods were playing music on December 4th, 2020 at 12:13 PM, correct?
Correct. I just have the 2 entries is all.
So, again, it doesn't show, those 2 entries does not show steady streaming into the AirPods, correct?
Not from that, no.
So you have no idea if music was actually playing when Mr. Goodson got shot, do you?
I don't.
Doesn't know.
Based on a degree of forensic certainty, you have no idea if music was in fact playing through the AirPods on December 4th, 2020 when Mr. Goodson was shot, correct?
Correct.
Now, you talked to Mr. Schroyer about unless there were some interruptions with the automatic ear detection, right? Do you
Yeah.
remember him asking you those questions?
Yes.
An interruption can be a slight moving of the AirPod, correct?
It could be movement, just a disconnection of the device.
And the device can disconnect like that, right?
Yes.
And if the device disconnects, then it's not playing music, right?
Correct.
Now, do you remember Mr. Schroyer asking you if there was contact or responses from the Goodson family to Mr. Korn?
Yes.
They never provided you their phones to go ahead and analyze to get that data off of their devices, did they?
No.
May I have a moment?
Yes.
Thank you, Detective.
Take whatever you brought and leave.
Don't even know what I brought.
everything else there.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, you guys can pick up your stuff.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I-
Gary, the phone's up here.
Pardon me?
Your evidence, the phone's up here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I think this would be good. Thank you.
Somebody want to approach